So here I am, about 2 months, almost 3 months into opening my first brick and mortar physical retail business, Double Play Collectibles in Scarborough, Maine. And I wanted to share a few of the things I've learned while opening this brand new business. This is my 8th business overall, so I already have a lot of experience with startups, with corporate America, with having my own agency, with having a bunch of other companies. This is number 8. I'm making this video to share with anyone else who is opening a brick and mortar card store for the very first time. These are some important things I've learned in just a short amount of time, and hopefully they'll help you too. Here are the top 7 things I've learned opening a new card shop. Number 7, and this is the most important one, so I'm gonna start here. I would say save the best for last, but hire a great manager. The best thing you can do when opening a new shop is hire someone who can work in your business so you don't have to, so you can work on your business. Because if you're working in your business, being able to work on it, it just gets pushed to the side. All the things like designing a great logo, coming up with concepts on how you're gonna sell items, doing trade nights, doing all those fun marketing activities that I wanna do. I wouldn't have half the time to do it if I didn't have Tim, who manages my eBay and my online sales, who he's in retail for the first time as well, but the man takes to retail very well. He's cleaning the shop, he's pricing items, pricing cards, processing literally thousands of cards a week so we can sell online and sell in the store. So get yourself a great manager because it's gonna free up all of your time. Number 6, online plus in-store is the formula. You know, I went into this knowing that I need to have a strong online presence in order to survive. I am in the most populous area of Southern Maine, but Southern Maine compared to the rest of the country is kind of peanuts population-wise. Now in the summertime, we have a lot of tourists come up, so we'll get an influx of people in the store, but I wanted to know that in the dead of winter during a snowstorm, we could still sell and do the numbers I want to do in July just because we have online presence. So on eBay, for example, before I hired my manager, I was only doing $2,000 to $3,000 a month. As soon as my manager came in, within the first 30 to 45 days, that number jumped to $25,000. So over the first 90-day span, we're at about $30,000, $31,000 in total sales just on eBay. So that's great. And compare that to in-store, my very first month, probably a few days before I hired Tim as my manager. That month of February, we did $2,500. Not a whole lot, but again, startup, brand new. I've done barely any marketing even to this day. It's mostly been word of mouth. So we go from February at $2,500 to end of March, our second full month, we did, I believe it was over $15,000 in the store. Now that's not including eBay. So we're doing really good with $15K in store, and I would say probably another 20 on eBay. 2 months into a business, I think that's fantastic, especially for the market I'm in Southern Maine. So online plus in-store has to be your formula. That's just how it goes. Plus, if you have merch like I do, hats, t-shirts, sweatshirts, if you're gonna sell any of that stuff, you gotta have an online presence and a website. That leads me to number 5, arbitrage. Everything in life is arbitrage when you're in sales. I happen to be in retail in the sports card world, and if I can find items at a better price, pennies on the dollar sometimes out there because someone's motivated to sell them, I literally have a physical marketplace where I can sell them for a higher price and still give the customer a good deal. You always make money when you buy. So if I can get batches of cards at, literally pennies on the dollar per card, but I can buy it in bulk, I can make money and still not pass on a lot of the cost to the customer. Our cases are filled with cards anywhere from $2 to $100. We have really great cards that are more than $100, but we made a decision early on to take those out of the cases and keep them in binders, keep them in boxes. So if people asked us, hey, do you have any vintage 1965 cards? Yeah, we do have those. You can look at them. We bring out the case. It's more of a VIP special experience for them. But we didn't want people to have the sticker shock looking in the case like, oh my God, everything's $200 and $300 and $400. It just doesn't work in the market like this. So arbitrage. It's one of my favorite things. It's one of my favorite words. I love being able to go into a thrift store, secondhand store, shoot, even TJ Maxx and Burlington Coat Factory, finding items that are underpriced in their current market, in their current store, buying them, taking them into my store, marking them up and making a profit. If you put in the work and you find these opportunities, you can make money. That's why yard sales are great. That's why the summertime is great. Love going to Broomfield. Love going to paper shows and postcard shows and card shows. Find those arbitrage opportunities and you'll be successful as a business owner. Number 4, speaking of arbitrage, you need to have cash. And sometimes you need to have a lot of it at the ready in order to do these buys. Cash is king, and I've had countless people come into the store with items, and we offer trade, sometimes we offer consignment, but for the most part, cash is king. If people can walk out of here with a number they're happy with, they're gonna do a deal with us. We want to take their cards, we want to do the work, we want to process the cards and sell them to the general public. They have maybe bought too many cards, or their collection is narrowing, or they're moving and they want to downsize, or they don't want to have any more baseball cards but they love basketball cards. For whatever reason, they're trying to sell to us, and we just give them the skinny of the deal. For us is 25 to 30% of retail, we're paying cash. That's how we do things here. I'm telling you here on this video, being very transparent, that's just how I do business. If I have to buy it any higher, it's hard for me to make money. Again, you walked into my shop, this is a store, this is not a show. Okay, we're not at a show. I'm not doing all these sweet deals every day. Yeah, we're gonna do a deal for your buy, but I have to be able to make money, and you have to respect the fact that I am a retail location. I do spend north of $11,000 a month running my business. And that number is gonna go up as I expand, as I get bigger, as I have more employees and more costs, right? Try to keep the number down, but if I know I have to make a minimum of 11 to cover my costs every month, I can't buy your cards for retail prices. I think most people understand that, but hey, it's always good to remind someone or tell them again when they walk in so they know the deal. Look, I'm willing to give you cash, just not what you want to get on eBay. If you want to go to eBay and sell it, I'll show you. I'll give you a 2-minute demonstration on how to do that. But I can't spend my labor's time, I can't spend Tim's time, my time, and spend my money to do what you could do, right? Plus remember, eBay is like a 10 to 15% fee. Sometimes it's more at the end of the month. I've seen it 19% of fees I'm paying by listing things on eBay. So I factor all those things in when buying. But if you don't have cash, you can't buy stuff. And if you're a shop, you've got to have some cash. Number 3, we ran into this problem early on and we wanted to do breaks. And I was so excited. I bought a bunch of new wrestling product. I was ready, except eBay wasn't ready. And I had missed an email in the summertime that said, hey, we're no longer allowing new people to get into our breaks program. They shut it off, they closed the door. So even though I have this great 2,500 square foot retail location, I have a legitimate brick and mortar business, I can't get into eBay's break program. I have to do breaks on my own website. I gotta do somewhere else. I could do Fanatics Live, but gotta be honest, Fanatics has way too many rules for me at this point in business. They want a 24/7 security camera, eyes on the boxes of sealed Panini or whatever product you've got, which I totally understand. It's just that's for a 2-man operation at this point, 3-man if you count my dad, he's here doing his postcards. That's a little too much for me, but the eyeballs are great. The reason I wanted to do eBay with the breaks is because it's built in. We've got so much traffic there. And the reason I don't mind paying the fees, I hate when people call it fee-bay, because yeah, look, it's a platform. The cost of doing business is you gotta pay the fees, otherwise eBay couldn't survive either. Now sure, do I always want the fees to be less? Yes. But with eBay, I understand the fees, I get it. I would just love to be a part of the eBay breaking program. So if anybody out there sees this video, let me in, Double Play LLC. We'd love to do breaks on eBay, and hopefully being on the wait list, at some point they'll let us in. Maybe I just need to shoot them another email. But that was a big bump in the road because I had to absorb a lot of costs. Like I spent a couple $1,000s on product that now I've got to move in the shop or on my website, and I don't have as much traffic or eyeballs as eBay does. So that was a point where I had to pivot, and it was, kind of a mistake on my part and my manager's part of not doing our thorough homework to make sure. We just kind of assumed we could get in. So eBay. That was a pivot point for us. They don't allow us to do breaks at this current time. That brings me to number 2, don't spend too much money on new product. Now, of course, your ego says, I wanna be the best. I wanna have all the new stuff, all the hobby stuff. I wanna have every sport. I wanna have every box, every pack, every blaster. It's impossible. Unless you've got a bunch of trust fund money and you've got a really great financial backer, you're not gonna be able to have all the product in the world. And even if you could, I would recommend not doing that. Get some product up front. Find a third-party distributor. Lucky for me, I found a couple good sources through networking, and they give me new product with a chance for me to actually make some money, make some profit. It's not the most, but it's better than a lot of places. And so without those sources, I really wouldn't be able to have new product and make money. Even as it is, having new product, it's not a loss leader, but you make the least amount of profit on the new product, the blasters, the packs, but it's what people want, so you need to get it. So you have to find this balance. I've tried to strike this balance in the first couple months of being open and saying, okay, people are looking for Connor Bedard, the one of one. I gotta have the hockey. The hockey sells out in 48 hours. That's great. I can keep reordering because my distributor is close by, so it takes a day or two to get the product. That's pretty fast. Wrestling, basketball, some baseball, UFC, soccer and football. I can go to these third-party websites and I can find them. They've got a direct account with Panini and Fanatics, and they can still sell it to me where I can make a little bit of a profit. Not a lot, but a little bit. Really, they sell the boxes to breakers. That's where I was gonna make my money. So having to adjust that business strategy has been hard because I still need to get those direct accounts, and I have to be open for 6 months, and there's all these rules with Fanatics and Panini, and I've just about hit those benchmarks to where I can apply for those accounts. But even then, applying for one of those accounts, then I'm gonna have a minimum spend. And if I don't have the foot traffic in the door, it's hard for me to justify buying the new product. So don't go crazy on new product at first. Buy enough, and you're just gonna be reordering maybe every week, maybe every 2 weeks to fill gaps, and you just have to stay on top of it until you can get one of those direct accounts. So I'm in the process of doing that right now, but just don't get top heavy with new product. And number 1, the most important thing when opening a new card shop I've learned, and I had this in my mind going in before I even opened, was don't be just a card shop. You gotta offer a lot of other things to people. I've got vintage clothing. I love going and buying that stuff because the margins are great. I've got my own merchandise. I've got comic books. I've got toys, Sea Dog stuff, Portland Pirates. I've got signed baseballs, signed programs. I've got a lot of different things in here. I've got the value table of cards. I've got postcards. I've got records, action figures. I made sure to diversify the items in my shop because I knew that if I only relied on sports cards, I'd be riding that wave, feast and famine, up and down, and I don't want to have to ride that wave. I want sports cards to be like 10 to 20%, and I want to have clothing be 10 to 20%, and break it down, right? Now I know some of these direct accounts, you have to do 70% of sales of sports cards, but that doesn't mean your inventory has to be 70% sports cards. It just means that that needs to sell the most, right? It needs to be a majority to get a direct account. But you could operate without a direct account. I just knew I wanted to be more than just a card shop. I wanted to be a card shop slash clothing slash toys slash ephemera slash signed baseball slash memorabilia. All of those things sell online and sell in the store. And so yeah, that number 1 was be diversified, because when the sports card industry, goes down, takes a hit, there's a lull, that's the time I want to buy more cards. And when it's up, that's when I want to sell the most. But I'm never going to solely rely on sports cards to be able to make money and survive as a shop. Those are my top 7 things. I try to get through them as quickly as possible, but I feel like that's really a really comprehensive way of thinking about how I've been operating my business. I'm almost at a profit already, and I'm only about halfway through month 3. So I'll be doing more of these videos to try to help you understand what I'm going through, and hopefully it's gonna help you. Maybe you're running into some of the same problems I've had, like eBay not allowing me to get into the breaking program, or not being able to get a direct account because I haven't been an established business for 6 months with like a Panini or a Fanatics. Again, this is my 8th business. I've been around the block running startups, opening new businesses. So I know how to do a lot of those things, but it doesn't all map directly to running a card shop. This is new to me, but hey, it's another challenge and I love a good challenge. I haven't even been open for 3 months, so sometimes I gotta pause, give myself a pat on the back and remind myself that I'm a lot further than I should be at this point in time. Definitely big shout out to Tim, my manager, who takes on a bulk of the tasks here at the shop. One of the things that makes us really successful is we have a morning meeting every single day. We're on the same page every day. I feel like that's super important. It's face-to-face meeting. That way we can both talk about wins and losses, things that I want to do for the day. Tim brings up things that he needs, things he needs me to buy. You know, the morning huddle, it's important. It's a sacred thing for both of us, and it helps us be successful, because a two-man group, you can't keep anything from each other. You got to have full trust and transparency. So that's like a bonus to the top 7. But that's it for me. I'm gonna close up shop. Well, technically I'm closed, but I gotta get out of here. So you guys, please hit the like button, subscribe, leave me a comment, let me know what else I can cover in the sports hobby. This video wasn't exactly about cards, but it relates to business owners out there. So if you're watching this, I appreciate you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.